and she was either in a cart or she was on a horse, and the horse just went buck wild, and he just ran, and she got knocked off the horse near the entrance, or because like there are some slats in the side that you could technically be able to. Point is, she fell to the death in the brook.
The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for a mature audience. Topics covered may be violent or sexual in nature and are not suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. For specific trigger warnings, please see the episode's show notes. Testimony shared by guests of this show are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Late Night Legends hosts or staff. This podcast and any linked materials should not be considered medical or professional advice, nor is the information a substitute for the expertise or treatment from a professional. Listener discretion is advised. Watch out.
Welcome to Late Night Legends. I am one of your hosts, Kay, and I am here with Frank, Joan, and Maria. And tonight, well, Joan's going to be talking about Emily's Bridge. Next week, Maria is going to be talking about the Duendes.
Wisconsin Duendes.
Duendes, I'm so sorry. She's going to be talking about that. And then the week after that, I'm going to be talking about Project Bluebeam. So we have lots of exciting topics coming up in the coming weeks. And then we have a very exciting topic tonight from Joan. Do we have any announcements before we get started?
I will just say really quick, if you're somebody that watches a live show, but you don't go back to like watch anything that's pre-recorded, if you have time, go back and watch our most recent pre-recorded show where we read comments from throughout the year. Not only is that really just an homage to all of our listeners and audience, but it's a very special show where I personally thank our entire team and our listeners and give a really good update on like metric stuff, which I don't think that our audience generally gets to hear about or gets to see. But you get to see it, you get to hear it, you get to see our creator wrapped on Spotify. So if that interests you, if you'd like to check that out for Late Night Legends, definitely check that out. It is pre-recorded, so if you're somebody that only watches live and you didn't see it, it's available for you. That's all I got. Also, I noticed that it's been a dog's age since Charlie's been on, but he should be on next week. I believe he's scheduled. So if you're someone who's a Charlie fan, next week, check him out. He'll be here. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I didn't know his fans were missing him so badly. I'm so sorry.
I think he's got some fans, honestly. Like, that's no
I
joke.
mean, I'm personally a fan of Charlie,
I
so
think we're all a fan of Charlie. We love Charlie.
yeah.
We miss you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna see this and be like, okay, thanks. Before we start, also everybody, this is our first time back from the holiday season, so I hope everyone had a happy holiday and safe holiday, and happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Before we begin, how does everybody feel about being in 2025? How we all doing?
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when the year started with 19, so
Yeah. Do you remember what the year
I
started with
do.
19?
yeah, barely.
I was like, do
I
you?
get to be a part of the club.
I wasn't very long part of that club, so I'm just checking.
For me, everything has felt really off since COVID that year. Everything
agree.
since then has felt off, and it seems like every year since then we're trying to resume a normal life that we never are going to get to. And every fucking year, it seems like the next year tries to outdo the previous year, which is kind of scary because 2024 was bananas. So I'm
Yep.
going into 2025 personally very cautious. of everything. So
Maybe we'll just have like a bird flu pandemic, and then it will just kind of flip us back to the way things, like it will outdo COVID over,
No.
you know what 2024 felt like? There was so much going on at the end of 2024. It felt like one of those teasers at the end of your favorite TV show where they don't reveal what's actually going on, like the bird flu shit. Like, oh,
and
state of
everything was
emergency in
fading to
California.
black on us.
Everything
yeah.
was fading to black, and it's like, oh my god, it's 2025. We're going to hear about the bird flu. Oh, it's 2025 the year we're going to hear about the drones. Oh, it's 2025 the year we're going to hear about aliens. Like, there's so
that's-
many cliffhangers that
Yeah.
2024 gave us.
That's true. I should tell the podcast audience I've marked myself safe from the Jersey drones. They did not get me.
But they're also
them.
on the West Coast, though. They're not
Yeah,
just
now
in
they are.
Jersey.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. We started the trend.
Also,
okay?
why are all of these planes suddenly falling out of the sky? Have you guys noticed that?
There's planes falling out of the sky, more terrorism, more school shootings. There's like so much that
Yeah.
2024.
Also, norovirus is going through this whole country right
It's
now.
Doug had
terrible.
Yeah. My parents had it. Like, we looked it up, and like 30% of New Jersey was like sick. Like right after Christmas, I was
It's-
one of them. I was
it's
not safe from that.
norovirus and a stronger version of the yearly flu, which
Yes.
I did not get norovirus, but I got the yearly flu really bad.
I think I must have gotten something. I only had like chest congestion, was like the worst part about it, but
I
it was
lost my
bad.
voice. It was really bad.
Yeah.
As I'm sure Maria can relate to this also, and you two probably can too, but our whole life has been like history events.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
And I'm just really tired of living through that. So can we just calm down for a couple of years, please?
From the year of like 1993 to 1997, there's not a single Wikipedia article, but now there's one every single day for 2024.
Yep. Real
Uh.
tired of living through world history events.
Yeah.
Could we
If we
fucking
can-
not have a war and like can Ukraine war end? Can stuff in Korea be over? Can like everything Russia? Can we just fuck off for a minute in England?
Everybody just-
Can Canada settle down, please? Jesus Christ!
Everyone,
All right,
go to
guys.
your corners, sit down,
For
take a nap.
5 minutes. I always am reminded of like the Mr. Incredible interview, and he's like, "Can you guys just for 5 minutes?"
Let's talk about stuff that we can't control, so it's fine. Tonight, I am going to be talking about Emily's Bridge. Has anyone ever heard of Emily's Bridge before? Wow.
The
wow,
first
wow,
time
wow. Tough
that
crowd, tough
sound
crowd.
crossed my ears is when Maria said it a few minutes ago.
Wow.
Wait, Maria said it before Kay did, right? Did I remember that correctly?
No.
I don't
All right.
think so.
I'm gonna cut that out in post. Just
No,
let
no.
y'all know.
No,
Keep it.
you will not.
I'm
No,
cutting
you
that out in
Clearly it was
post.
not in
No
there.
one has to know that I'm not listening.
Okay. So I will say, everybody, please give me a break. I wrote this differently than I usually do, so this is not my usual style. New year, new me. We're trying something new. So, coming off of the Hallmark Holiday movie season, let's talk about the place where most big city girls go back to find their hometown holiday love interest. Vermont.
Wait, what did you say you lived in Vermont like 20 minutes ago? Sorry, I'll shut up.
I have lived in
Sure.
Vermont 20 minutes ago. I went to college in Vermont for 4 years. I didn't live there. And they would be a Vermonter would be very upset if you told them a Flatlander like me had lived in, lives in Vermont. They don't like that. They literally they have bumper stickers that say "Don't Jersey, Vermont." So they're not nice. Anyway, back to what I was saying. We're specifically to talk about Stow, Vermont. Stow is best known for its small town charm with a main street which hosts shops with artisan and locally made crafts, and its outdoor recreational opportunities with their ski areas of Stow and Smuggler's Notch, having skiing, snowboarding, mountain biking, hiking trails, and even dog sledding. It's also known to be home for the most well-known ghost story in all of the Green State, Emily's Bridge. So yes, as I mentioned before, I lived in Vermont for college for 4 years, and I have heard of Emily's Bridge as well. But where I went to college was in South Vermont. Stow is a lot more north. So, not that that's relevant to the story, but just so it's relevant to my life. So first we're going to talk about the structure of Emily's Bridge, which is actually not called Emily's Bridge by the town standard. It's called the Goldbrook Bridge. Why are you giving it a look? The town didn't call it Emily's Bridge.
You're like, we're going to talk about this bridge that's not called a bridge.
It's not called Emily's Bridge. It's called the Goldbrook Bridge.
We
made more sense when you
actually
got to that.
addressed Frank's faces.
Don't start with that.
In our last
I'm
episode.
going to get some sunglasses over here.
It's the sunglasses won't help.
No,
Right next
that's
to your Tide pen.
the wrong
But-
hat to wear.
It is funny that like I'm saying this because I did watch a couple of like YouTube videos and a couple of things, and one of the people was like, they changed the name of the bridge to the Goldbrook Bridge. I'm like, no, they didn't. It's always been the Goldbrook Bridge. No one named it at that.
Is it like a landmark where people will refuse to call it like the new name? Because we have that like here in Chicago, like it's the Sears Tower, but like it got bought out and they named it the Willis Tower. Like no one calls it that. It'll never be known as that.
So it's always been the Goldbrook Bridge, but people have associated this story with it, so they just call it Emily's Bridge.
Oh.
It's kind of
okay.
like the Bunnyman
Connotation,
Tunnel.
denotation type of thing.
Yeah, no, what?
Not really.
So the fun thing about Emily or the Goldenbrook Bridge is that it's a covered bridge. And it connects Covered Bridge Road. So do you guys know what a covered bridge is?
Yeah.
Is the bridge covered with something? Because you said it was by Covered Bridge Road, which to me suggests it's just a road that's called that.
So the road is called that, but a covered bridge is a specific structure. They're very well known in New England.
Okay.
It is a bridge, a wooden bridge, and it has walls as well as like a roof over it. So it is like going through basically a man-made tunnel.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Frank is looking at me like I am talking
I'm trying
about
to think of like
architecture
what's the difference
marvels.
between a tunnel and a bridge, and I suppose
Just
that
A
a bridge
tunnel's-
is going over something where a tunnel may not be going over something.
just
Tunnels go
Google
through
a picture
things.
real quick. Just Google it.
Does anybody have a crayon where they could sketch a drawing for me?
Imagine a bridge that has a little house on it. That's what it is.
Joan's like, imagine a bridge that you can't even imagine. That's
Imagine-
Emily's Bridge. It's a
Emily's
covered bridge
Bridge.
next to covered road.
Okay, well, anyway, this was built in 1844 by John W. Smith. It is a 17-foot, it has like a 17-foot wide roadway with the actual like width for a car to go through being 13.5. And like, just to like put that in perspective, cars are typically 5.8 feet wide. So like, it's a single lane. You're not getting two cars through. Well, you could, but they'd be very close to
Uncomfortable.
touching. Yeah, it would not be fun. So, as I was mentioning before, covered bridges are usually made of wood or primarily made of wood. They have a roof with rafters in them. They have decking on this. They have siding and decking as well. And in the North US and Canada, numerous timber covered bridges were built in both the late 1700s and the 1800s. They are styled and designed after Germany and Switzerland's bridges. And the reason that you would have a covered bridge, specifically in the New England area, is that the covering actually helps the bridges last longer and protects them from the elements. So a typical wooden bridge is about 20 years, while the lifespan of a covered wooden bridge is about 100 years instead.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a lot. However, that being said, the maintenance on a covered bridge is very difficult to maintain because it's made of wood. And not many have lasted to this day, so they are very rare and a big tourist attraction when you go to New England, if you can find a covered bridge. I know, excuse me, I know that when I was in college, I would drive past one that was washed away during a hurricane. And they actually went and they found wood pieces of debris, as well as the wood pieces from their own covered bridge. And this was like one for like a private driveway. It wasn't like one people typically go over. And it was really cool because they took all the refurbished wood and redid their covered bridge. So it was pretty cool if you guys are into bridges. I don't know. I crowd tested this on my husband, but he was bad to be crowd testing this on because he's an engineer and he thinks bridges are cool anyway. In Vermont itself, the Emily's Bridge is the only surviving example of a Howe truss in timber on a public roadway. And if you're like, Joan, what's a Howe truss?
The truss is the structure that
yeah,
does this type of thing.
Yeah, usually like triangles.
It absorbs shock and does all that stuff.
Yeah, it's an architectural term for whole structure, usually with like triangles. And then a house truss is just a specific type of truss. I don't know what the difference is. I didn't go to architecture school or engineering. And it is the only covered bridge in all of the town of Stow. So, do we have any questions about the bridge?
I'm like picturing that Beetlejuice bridge.
Oh, are you?
It has like a little house roof type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You should keep picturing that.
Okay. Cool.
You should. Thank you, Maria. Put a pin in that. I'm also wearing a Beetlejuice shirt. Not relevant.
We didn't speak about this
Feel like-
beforehand.
We did not actually. Fun fact. We did not. Okay.
It's like some foreshadowing or something happening right now.
Ooh. So let's go into the actual ghost story. And for that, I will be giving a trigger warning for talks of suicide. So there are a lot of iterations of Emily's story. The earliest accounts are like 1844 is when it happened. But then some people also say that maybe it happened in the 1940s. A lot of the stories say somewhere in the 1920s. So we're getting really loose and goosey with these timelines. Oh, I'm sorry. I said earliest 1844. I lied. It's 1849. 1844 is when the bridge was built.
It's my favorite kind of Lucy.
Yeah. Is the goosey? Ooh. The version that I would say... No, we're not doing.
I guess that was not.
Did
good
he
for
run
Kim.
afoul?
Isn't it funny how like her laugh sounded kind of like a honk of a goose too?
Frank!
As a complete side note, sometimes when we fart in the house,
It sounds like a goose.
Justin and I would say, "Who stepped on that goose?"
Okay. All right. Okay, we're done.
So okay, the most well-known version of Emily's story. This is serious, guys. Is Emily's family discovered that she had a lover and they didn't want them together for whatever reason. Some say it's because she was from a farming family and he was from a rich family. Some will say it's because he or she was poor. Sorry. Some will say it was because she was poor. Some will say it's because he was poor. For some reason, they weren't allowed to be together. And then the couple decided to meet at the covered bridge around midnight and run away together. But for some reason, the lover did not show. And this made Emily so distressed that she...
I'm so sorry.
I should really hide the chat. I'm sorry, Joan. I'm so sorry. I tried.
I'm so sorry.
I tried to.
I'm so
I tried
sorry.
to not laugh. I swear to God, I tried my hardest to not laugh. But did you see? Okay.
Remind me to tell you something later about that dance move that's happening.
I'm so sorry.
I thought you were gonna say remind me to say fuck you, Frank.
I don't need to be reminded. I'll remember. That's a good one. So anyway, she was so distressed. She was so upset, guys, because her lover didn't show, that she made a noose and she hung herself in the rafters of the covered bridge.
You know,
It's really
I thought
unfortunate.
That's so sad, isn't it?
I thought at some point you were gonna say like she jumped off the bridge. I'm like, no, it's a covered bridge. But no, that's so worse. That's so much worse.
That is so much worse. It is funny that you say that because that's the most popular version, or an iteration of that version. There are other ones that she was like on the way to her wedding, and she was either in a cart or she was on a horse, and the horse just went buck wild, and he just ran, and she got knocked off the horse near the entrance, or because like there are some slats in the side that you could technically be able to. Point is, she fell to the death in the brook. Another one says that her lover did come, that Emily was pregnant and her lover did not want the baby, and so he pushed her off the bridge at midnight and killed her.
This is so sad.
Kay, are you all right?
I'm sorry, Kay. Do you need a moment?
I'm okay.
What's in that Dr. Pepper? What's his prescription tonight?
She got that old Dr. Pepper that has like cocaine in it.
She got Dr. Peppered on air.
Okay.
I'm
but
so
yeah,
sorry.
so
That
she
is
got
super sad though.
Yeah. So she got murdered. You can feel less bad later about all of this. The another one, speaking of her wedding, is that actually she was on the way home from the wedding, or she was like walking to her wedding, and a horse trampled her on the bridge. There's the moral of the story, if there's to be a moral, is that Emily was in love and met an untimely demise. So as I said before, this is one of the most haunted bridges in Vermont. Actually, the haunted bridge in Vermont, and this is probably one of the best known ghost stories in all of Vermont. So there have been different sightings or different things that happen. So you get your typical, oh, this doesn't work, or like batteries run out on the bridge, things don't work, like you see things in the camera. I watched one YouTube video and they were like, nothing's working, our batteries are drained, and it was 1 degree outside, and I'm like, okay,
batteries don't do well in the cold.
Yeah, I'm like, is it just cold, guys? Do you think it's just cold? Also, they're doing EVPs and they're walking around, and it's a gravel on the bridge. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
Like, this ghost sounds crunchy.
Basically. And then they took pictures and they're like, is that Emily in the rafters? And I'm like, nah, brah, that's wood. That's what wood looks like when you take a picture of the flash in the dark.
It's probably just a shadow.
Yeah.
Now,
Joan,
it definitely
was.
Now, Joan,
yeah.
we have to let these investigators have their day.
I let them investigate. I wasn't there, but I would have told them you're being a little silly. So actually, no, but it's very serious. They see all these things and they hear all these things. It's very serious.
Very serious.
I remember from college specifically there being like a midnight challenge with Emily's ghost. So like you would go like either between midnight or 3 a.m. I forget when. And you would go to the bridge and you would say a phrase. I don't remember the phrase, but it was something like Emily, 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 whatever. Like a Bloody Mary situation almost. And then you're supposed to be able to cross the bridge. And like if she likes you, she lets you cross. If she doesn't like you, you get scratched. But if she does then so you cross, and if you turn around and look back into the covered bridge, you can see a silhouette of her hanging. Was like the story.
How do you find that out? And then you're like, you do it enough times where you're like, oh yeah, those are the steps that you have to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's just an old wives' tale. That's why.
Yeah. Frauds.
But also, like, none of the ghost hunters said that. So I don't know if that was just something local to the area that I was in. If people in that area are like, oh yeah, you should go try that. But like, that's something I had heard. But there is things that like you can hear a woman wailing and crying. You can hear screams sometimes whispers. People have been scratched. Horses have also been scratched, they said. The one that hurts me the most is that apparently your car could get scratched while you're driving through.
The horses wail, the cars wail.
Horse wail. Everyone's wailing.
It
Even a whale.
It does seem very like Bloody Mary-esque. Like
Yeah.
you're not even sure what the origin story is, and very much like you have to say her name 3 times and then you cross the bridge. Like,
Yeah.
it's really giving me those vibes.
Yeah. And then, like, people have also claimed that they've seen, like, if you stand at the edge of the bridge, you can see a girl crying. And if you, by the time you walk to the middle of the bridge, she's no longer there. Yeah, I said about the game. Also, some people have said, like, if you walk through, you can see a noose. Like, if you walk by very quickly, like, you just, like, see it at the corner of your eye. And then, yeah. So, like, there's all these different, like, things that you see with this ghost. And I'm also going to talk about a little bit the haunting trope that Emily falls into. So this is known as like the jilted lover. You have 2 sides of lover stories in tropes, especially with women. And it's either the lady in white or the lady in red. So the lady in white, I would love to talk about this more too, is usually a woman who is on her wedding day, pure in some way, usually referring to her being virginal in some sense. And something happens where she can no longer be with her love. And there's sadness behind it, and there's a wanting to reconnect. There's actually a lady in white story for one of the cemeteries in Chicago, Frank.
There's no less than like 6 different ladies in white over here.
Yeah.
You got to be more specific. Because there's like more than one per cemetery at this point.
Is it Molly something?
Dude, I don't know. There's so many.
I don't know if you
I don't honestly, Joan, to be quite fair with you,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the ghost investigations are mostly hoaxes anyway, to be honest.
What?
Like, I think a lot of these, like, let's tour the haunted factory. Like, I think it's a lot of bullshit anyway. So, like,
Frank,
I'm the wrong dude to ask.
I thought you were the greatest believer out of all of us. What are you talking about?
No,
Frank,
absolutely not.
What?
Sorry.
I'm so shocked.
I'll go on a ghost tour and I'll have a blast, but I'm not going to repeatedly go to a cemetery looking for a ghost, nor will I tell myself that there is one.
I'm so shocked, Frank. What? No.
But
anyway,
give off an ounce of skeptic.
No. Thought you were all in.
Hold on, I have a question real quick.
Okay.
Maria, in your state, do you have anything like a lady in white? Have you heard anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, but there is a bridge story in the city that I'm in as well. A little bit different.
Bridges are yeah. Bridges are pretty big. I'm gonna come back around to talking about that too. But so ladies in white are like pure in some way. Lady in red stories, usually it's the same kind of trope where there's a woman and she can no longer be with her lover, but there's like anger behind it. And sometimes she's not seen as being so virginal, such as like Emily being pregnant out of wedlock and things like that. But the point is that they have been betrayed by their lover, and therefore they are angry and they take it out on other people, if not trying to like seek revenge on their lover themselves. The other thing is that, funny enough, I was with a friend recording for her show, and we were talking about a bridge story in New Jersey. And that got me thinking, I feel like I've heard before that like water is a good like conductor of spiritual energy, but also like a bad conductor. Like I feel like there was something about like ghosts and moving water. And I tried looking it up and I got different answers that didn't make any sense.
No. It's a real thing. That is a real thing where people will submerge themselves in water because it's something where it's like it helps you astral project if you have like a near-death experience in it. It's a real thing. It's definitely a real thing.
So I just remember specifically something like ghosts couldn't cross moving water. Like something like that. And then I was like, that doesn't make any sense. There's so many ghosts that are on the ships.
What
and
about
like
the River
stuff
Hades?
like that.
It's made of ghosts. Come on.
But so that's what I was trying to look up. Like, where does that come from? And where I'd heard that before. And I think it was something about energies being dispersed. So like kind of what you were saying, Frank, that like ghosts don't like running water because they could step in it and get taken downstream, I guess.
Wait, I said that?
But like, no, you were saying about like you being submerged after, and it helps you astral project. So that is helping. Like,
Yeah. I was joking
spirit
about the river
energy.
Styx, by the way, but no, that it is definitely a real thing where people try to claim that they were able to astral project by having a near-death experience by 0.5 drowning or getting drowned in water, and there's a moment when you're losing consciousness and you're in the water where people have said that they've been able to astral project in that moment, and that moment seems to last longer than the few seconds that they're coming to. So
I feel
very
like
real thing.
it's important to put a disclaimer here. Do not try this at home, kids.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Good point. Also,
They
don't
do,
go on bridges. Just
if
in
you want
general.
to see this, in pop culture, there's a Keanu Reeves movie called Constantine. They do this in Constantine, and they
Yeah.
do all sorts of stuff with water and use it as a spiritual vessel or as a tool to access hell in that movie, actually. But
Yeah. And not even like supernatural water in general is just a good conductor of like electricity and stuff. So
Yeah. Which is like, I think where a lot of that ideas come from as well. I mean, like a lot of paranormal beliefs stem from seeing something in nature and going, huh, I bet that works in a way that I can't see it. So those are like the tropes. Now, I feel like I keep doing this with my topics, and I really don't mean to, where I go and I look up ghost stories or infamous characters in lore, like folklore history, like I did it with the guy from the Pine Barrens. But I accidentally found out that this one's most likely not true.
I called it. I fucking called it. Look
I
in the
thought you believed it, Frank.
no. Look. I'm gonna go to the chat right now. I'm gonna say, can I call something right now? Jonah's gonna totally do the thing.
Oh no, I saw it.
Gotcha. This is all fiction.
I really didn't mean to with this one. I knew it was a story and I wanted to look it up. And then I kept researching it and I was like, oh no.
Oh,
It's okay.
no.
They're all like that, Joan. It's all like that.
They're not all like that. This one is just very much so
Are you
like
telling
that.
me you can research a ghost and you could be like reading the article and it's like, oh, actually this one's true, and you're like, oh shit, I finally found the one that's true.
You can usually find better, more solid history on something versus it could be this, but also this, but maybe this. Like it's usually more defined, especially when something happened in like the 1920s or the 40s. Like if it was like this happened back in the 1600s, I'd be like, okay, stories get changed around. That makes sense. This one is like, no, we don't know when it happened or how.
Straight fake.
Yeah, okay. So, a local resident, because you have to understand, this isn't a town. Like, there's a tree line and then there's people's houses, like, next to this bridge. So you can hear people playing around. So a local resident was getting really annoyed about hearing young kids playing in the water under the like bridge during like the nights in the summer. So she made up the story of Emily to scare the kids away at night, which is a little funny because it backfired so badly. Because apparently up in that area between like the summer months all the way up until like winter, people just drive by this bridge all the time, and it's on like a little tiny road. So it caused more people to come. When she was asked like about this, why would you do this? She was like, well, I was inspired by like witchcraft stories and the satanic panic, and I thought it would just freak them out. And I thought it would make people leave me alone. What are you laughing? Are you laughing at something in the chat again? I'll be so sad.
No, absolutely no. Satanic panic. That's what I'm laughing at. I'm also laughing because I envision myself if I visit this bridge, I'm gonna take my car through and I'm gonna drive like 60 miles an hour and just honk my horn like, "Hey, ghost, beep, 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 hey, ghost."
It's not that long of a bridge. So speaking about that, if you look into the history of this bridge in particular, there's no record of anyone ever dying on this bridge.
Oh, beautiful.
Even better, there was a bridge further upstream that does have a record of someone like dying.
Not haunted.
But that has been destroyed due to like weather or whatever. And some people are like, well, maybe the ghost from that bridge came to
Maybe she just floated down.
Maybe she went downstream. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. Though, like, if we want to talk about local, or we want to talk about like recent things, does anyone know the story of Rug Lady on TikTok?
Rug Lady?
Have I heard that? Oh, I don't know if I have.
We should go into that one day. Or we should.
Bring it up now. What you doing?
There's
Let's
nothing.
go.
I know, I'm going to. There's nothing there, so I can just do it now. So this lady was at her house and she was like, things have been moving in my house and it's very spooky. And they started digging in their backyard to like build something, and they found a rolled up rug.
Hold on. Clearly Maria knows what you're talking about. Maria,
Yeah.
Can you tell us your experience of what you heard, and then we'll have Joan tell us like the official, what it's supposed to be?
I've just seen the videos. I saw like someone recapping like what happened on YouTube, and it was just
What do you remember?
a lady. Yeah, I don't remember why she started digging in her like backyard or something, but they found a rug that was like rolled up and it was buried. And she just kept asking people if she should like dig it out and like see what it's inside. And a lot of people were saying that it could be a body or something, and the police got involved. And yeah.
Okay. So this lady just starts digging one day.
Well, not
And then
her.
she's
Like,
like-
few other
she's
people
like-
were digging for her.
Yeah.
She's like, look at y'all. Y'all think I should dig up this rug that I found in the ground?
Pretty
What y'all
much.
think is in there?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what's
Is
on
that
TikTok,
what it's like?
actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the moral, or not the moral, to the point to my story was that at one point when she thought it was a haunting, she was like, they found the neighbor next door like dead, and like she didn't have any family or friends or hobbies, so like she's probably bored, and that's why she's over here haunting me because my life is so exciting.
She died of boredom. Oh no. Oh no, Joan. Why?
That's what I was like, did Emily float downstream because she was
She's
just
like,
bored?
oh, my bridge is gone. Just
There's nothing going on in this house to haunt. I'm gonna float downstream. I'll tell you what.
So there is this man named Joe Citro, and he is like he's written so many books about Vermont folklore. He's like the lead folklorist of Vermont.
Folklorist.
Folklorist,
Is
yeah.
that a
that's,
thing? Oh.
Yeah, that's what you would call someone who studies folklore, a folklorist. Yeah. Don't question me.
I never heard the word. I'm just saying.
No, it's okay. I'm sensitive to that because I had one friend that I said something about a shacket, and then she thought I just made up the word shacket, and I was like, I would never. A shacket is a shirt jacket.
It is a thing. No. I
Yeah.
know men's fashion. It's definitely
Okay.
a thing. I used to wear them.
I love them. But anyway, back to this. So he's quoted saying, quote, "The story of Emily's Bridge doesn't go back to the 1800s, but rather much more recently, in the 1970s. A woman by the name of Nancy Wolfsteed claimed that she was the one who created the story of Emily to scare local youth. There was a swimming hole somewhere near Stow and Morrisville. She remembers making up the story of the bridge to amuse the kids. At the time, there was a huge surge in the occult and paranormal in the fly paper that is popular culture, especially with films like The Exorcist that had recently debuted. She was also the one who came up with the name Emily." There is also another story about how a college professor made up the version of like her being run off the road by a horse, and the college students didn't understand that it was a made up thing, so they just told everybody it was a story. Yes, yes, Frank in the front. What would you like?
Apparently, we have a chat from Chicken Fria Ia 1, and they want to know what color is it, and I'm guessing it's the bridge. And then we also have Doug saying that I have nice facial hair. Thanks, Doug.
Nice.
But what color is what? I'm guessing. What color is the bridge? Can we know?
Brown. It's wood.
Well, there you have it.
It's brown. I'm sorry. Okay.
Maybe, actually, to be honest, they said this 20 minutes ago, and I had not noticed that we had a chat. So
That's true. Okay.
it could be a color of something else that we were discussing at the time. I shall
Maybe.
align the timestamps at a later time to let y'all know.
You should. I get back to me so I can answer the question. But for right now, brown. So that would be where our story of Emily ends. Except, I want to circle back to what Maria said. I want to talk about Tim Burton for a hot second. Because I was sitting there listening to Emily's story again and again, and I went, a girl named Emily who was abandoned by her lover
I was thinking about this the whole time.
died and then wanted revenge later on? This sounds familiar. Kay, or Maria, because I think Frank doesn't know what we're talking about. What does this sound like?
Corpse Bride?
I've seen that movie
Yeah.
a long time ago. Kind
So
of.
the bride's name was Emily. So I looked online and there's nothing about these being related. However, this is not the only time Tim Burton has thought of covered bridges. So Tim Burton used a covered bridge in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, sure, that makes sense that they would be in that area at the time, specifically when that movie was like happening. But he also had a covered bridge in Beetlejuice, which is what they drove off of, if I remember correctly. Fun thing about that covered bridge and about the filming of Beetlejuice is that was filmed in Vermont. It was filmed
son
an
of a bitch.
hour away from Stow. So even though there's no like connection written out online, it would not be unheard of, or like it wouldn't be bizarre to think that Tim Burton had heard the story of Emily's Bridge based on, as I said, it being Beetlejuice 1 and the second one has also been filmed in Vermont as well, an hour away from Stow. So my conspiracy theory is that Tim Burton was inspired by Emily's Bridge to write Corpse Bride.
Well, in one of the versions, didn't you say that she was like on her way to her wedding when she was killed?
Yep.
Now I'm trying to think of all the other Tim Burton movies that might have something to do with this.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Hey,
I thought you
Doug,
were just
why
like-
don't you eat my ass?
Who said that?
Okay?
Okay, did you say that to Doug? That's very rude.
What?
That's what it says in the live
What?
stream chat.
Why are you talking like that to Doug? He's
Hold on. Oh,
he is an endearing part of the sister podcast to this show. You should not talk to our partners that way. I'm gonna have to get HR involved.
in the live stream chat?
Look in the Riverside live stream chat on your computer.
Oh, there's another one. No, thanks, Joan. I wasn't offering, Doug. I know what your booty's been through recently. I hope you feel better.
Hey,
Oh.
hey, you shouldn't talk to
Hold
Doug
on.
that way.
Who logged in as me?
Is it your husband?
Is it Frank? Is this you?
What are you talking about? It clearly says K over
Okay,
here.
nope. Just with that reaction, it's you.
I don't
What are
like.
you? How did you get to be me?
Excuse me. It is not me.
First of all, I know it's not me because I would have capitalized Doug because I can do English.
Go on.
Wow, I missed you guys so much.
Go on.
I feel so violated right now.
Why?
Identity theft is not a joke, Frank. Millions of families suffer every year.
Maria, do you know what they're talking about? I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Don't get me involved, Frank.
Hey. Throw me a left over here.
No, she's one of the girlies. But that is where I'm going to end the story of Emily's Bridge. If you ever get a chance, I highly suggest going to visit the bridge. Maybe don't linger too long, because it is property. People live there. Don't be annoying. Don't be an asshole.
On the bridge?
No, but they live very close by. Like, a lot of people are there and they're like, I can hear sounds. It's like probably people in their backyard going, hey, shut up. It's midnight and I want to go to sleep.
There's like a ghost investigator walking across the gravel with their EVP. Hey, shut up there.
No, they'll do like the radio things that like go through different like channels. And I'm like, if I was hearing that 11 o'clock at night, I would also be outside, like yelling at you to stop it.
We need to move Doug out there so he could yell at the people on the bridge the way he's yelling at us in chat. That's what we need.
Some of the people were like, I hear a sound. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably a mountain lion. You're in the forest.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, that sounds like a woman screaming. They hear whispers. You're next to a stream.
Yeah.
It's a babbling
and
brook.
grass. And
grass. Like, friends, colleagues, Romans, I'm a believer. I believe in ghosts. I just don't believe in this ghost. Mostly because what's her name? Nancy was like, yeah, no, I made it up. Good old Nancy.
Doug, we don't need you right now, Doug, with those type of comments, man. Joan, don't read it. Don't.
I did.
Don't do that. Just close it out.
Okay, I did. I'm scared. So yeah. Final thoughts, if you guys want to.
Frank, you can't even hide it anymore. I just heard you typing and then I said something in the chat.
What are you talking about?
You can't even
what do you mean? No way.
You can't gaslight girl boss your way out of this, Franklin.
Who's gaslighting who? I'm just saying no.
You're saying no?
You're
exactly.
saying no?
Yeah, you just admitted to it.
Also, your name on here is now also Kate.
What are you talking about? That's not, no. Are you serious? No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Franklin,
Maria, look at them
stop.
try to blackmail me, Maria. Look at this.
I'm gonna take a screenshot for evidence so we can all, when we do our expose later. He steals identities. Frank's gonna come on one day, have no clue what the episode's about. It's just gonna be Kay talking about the fear of identity.
Oops.
You're ridiculous, Frank.
I try.
Okay. Who wants to go with their final thoughts on the matter?
I go last, so y'all go first.
My final thought is that I'm pretty sure I just caught Frank digging in my wallet for my ID and my social security number. Watch out for him. He will steal your identity.
I know her dad's name.
It's so weird that you do. It's so weird. And my mom's, because my mom has a very unique name and he remembers it. And I don't even remember telling him my mom's name. So really be careful what you say to Frank because he will remember it.
Yep.
Emily's Bridge sounds a little suspicious. Sounds like Bloody Mary. Sounds like somebody made it up. And I'm on the same page as Joan. I believe in ghosts, just not this ghost. I will say, if you have had an experience with Emily at Emily's Bridge, put it in the comments. We want to hear it.
Yeah, prove me wrong. Make me believe. Maria, would you like to go next?
Yeah. I think Nancy's really cool. She created all of this and now people just believe like it's a real thing. Who knows? Maybe the stories lured in some other ghost from a bridge nearby and just who knows, but
like a Tulpa kind of situation. we've made a ghost.
We're hiring. We are in need of a ghost to fill in the story. But yeah, no,
love
that's
that.
cool. That's like I said, there's another story of like I think it's a tunnel, not a bridge. But it's just really interesting how like I think this one as well has a bunch of different versions of it. So who knows? Maybe one bridge out there does truly have a ghost and everyone just wants to be like it.
Yeah. My final thought is something that I just forgot because it was in my brain and then it left. That's great. No, I had it. I'll come back. I promise. No, it's a very loose promise that I will not. The next story I bring to you I will not accidentally debunk it and find out that's just straight up not true. And the formal names of the people who made it up. I've just been really good. It's because Frank's like, yeah, every story's made up. Sure, you could think that. That's fine. It's very rare, I think, you find the name of the exact person who made it up, and I have done it twice now. So I'll stop doing that.
You're just a very good investigator.
I'm it wasn't that hard. I like found one article and Joe Citro was like, this isn't true. Listen to me. I love Vermont folklore. She is the most famous ghost. She's a lie. Ask Nancy. Nancy made it all up. And Nancy's like, yeah, I did. I made it up.
I love Nancy's voice.
Thanks.
Are we good? Am I good? Okay, so ghost bridges. Is this my favorite? It is not. Mine is the Goatman's Bridge in Texas, which we've already covered.
That's sexist, but cool. Whatever.
Goatman's Bridge?
You don't like it because it's a woman haunting it,
I
Frank?
didn't say that. That's the
Wow,
name of the
Frank.
bridge.
That's just upsetting.
I thought you were going to go into a whole other topic. You're like, okay, cool. Bridges. Let me tell you about ghost bridges.
I'm into two things, boiled denim and bridges. I once found a carton of eggs underneath the bridge. Perfectly good. None of them cracked.
Made a decent penny in boiled denims and the bridge business mostly. Frank up there though. Now that man is rich in spirit. He's rich in character.
I'm kind of into bridges myself.
Yeah.
I found a whole case of eggs under a bridge last week. Perfect condition. None of them missing, none of them cracked. I mean, who in their right mind throws away a perfectly good case of eggs this day and age? I mean, it's a sick world, don't you think?
Oh, he's good with the conversation and excuse me, I believe I'm coming down a bit of something here.
I got bit by a crab under that same bridge.
Oh, did you?
You ever been bit by a crab, Hunt?
You guys don't know that? Okay. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. We'll see y'all next week. We're going to have some great topics here in 2025. Thanks for coming back and joining us for this paranormal podcast. I hope that everyone that was waiting for ghost stories was happy with this one. And sorry for telling you a ghost story and then telling you it's fake. See you next week, everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye.